What's good with y'all boys? It's Russell. I'm back with another video, and as a topic and the title of this video is Impatience is the Killer of Dreams. Now, I'm currently with my boy Zach. He behind the camera, so shout out to Zach. Y'all know, shout out to bro. But I wanted to just talk about this because, you know, I just hit the big age of 23, my LeBron year, not my Jordan year. And, you know, I had to sit back and think because sometimes, you know, when you get down to planning things and when it's New Year's or your birthday, you have certain goals that you want to go for. And a lot of the times, as someone like me who's very impatient, we can doubt the circumstances that we're in and whether or not certain things are going to succeed or we're going to be able to succeed at, you know, whatever our dreams is, whether it's music, content creation, whether or not you're going to get a certain job, if you're going to get into a certain school. And we doubt whether or not we're going to get there because the result isn't fast, the result isn't apparent already to us. And we get so impatient to the point that we think, dang, it may not work out. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk to you all about circumstances in my life, as well as, you know, circumstances that may apply to you in terms of if you're being impatient and how that can literally kill your dream, not the circumstance that you're currently in. Because at the end of the day, the dream is what you set in your mind. That is what you envision. We all been them dudes, you know, that sat back, whether or not you want to hoop, whether or not you know, sit back in the bed one day and you thinking, you dreaming about how you're going to be the next pro basketball player, whether or not you're going to be the next rapper to come out your city, or, you know, even if you want to become an astronaut, you know, we got our academics in the chat, you know what I'm saying? If you want to, you know, be a physicist, whatever. And the grind is so long that you cannot picture in your mind you already being at that point, that at least you just giving up. So I'm going to talk to y'all about this because, you know, like I said, big 23 year for me. So we're going to get into why impatience is a killer of dreams. Now, first off, one thing that we need to get on, and when we're talking about impatience, is that your reality or how you perceive your circumstance, it dictates how your outcomes are going to be. Let's say that you have 500 followers, right? 500 followers may not seem like the biggest number to you if you compare yourself, let's say if you are a musician to Playboi Carti, or if you compare yourself, let's say if you're a pop musician, you know, Billie Eilish, or, you know, whoever artist it is, right? It's not going to seem as though it's a big number. However, if you were placed in a room with 500 people that wanted to, you know, kill you or something right now, or if they wanted to, you know, fight you, you'd probably be thinking that's a big number, right? And, you know, sometimes I think to myself when I go to this channel, I'm like, man, we are almost hitting 700 subscribers, which I'm very happy about. Very happy about. Shout out to all the messengers, you know what I'm saying? But then sometimes I'm thinking, dang, like, I got to get to this monetization goal. I got to reach this number. And I get so fixated on the number that I need in the future that I'm not focused on the number that I had in the past. Bro, I went through one of my past videos, bro, and I literally was like, man, appreciate y'all for 40 subscribers. And I had to think, dang, bro. Like, I barely remember that point when I even had 40 subscribers. Like, I was so focused in that moment of getting to the next goal that I didn't even appreciate that time. Like, sometimes I film videos, and I have over 70 plus videos and shorts on this channel, right? And I'm not even able to just be like, dang, like in the moment, experiencing what I did. Like, I genuinely sometimes rewatch videos and I forget what I even did. Isn't that insane? Yeah. Like, I really was in the moment, but I can't remember what I did because I was so focused on the camera and editing, getting the right title and all this other stuff, when there is no perfect way to beat an algorithm and there's no perfect way to beat a system. If someone's trying to tell you that, sure, there are ways in which you can maximize your success as much as possible, but sometimes it's going to be given to other people, or sometimes the algorithm will benefit people who will literally put in zero effort to, you know, the title, caption, whatever. All this analyzing that we do in terms of whether or not you're posting on your music on this platform or whether or not you're doing the little small things can really just be put into building yourself as a person and, you know, building your character that is going to be shown to the people. You know what I'm saying? Building an image. Like, if you're a rapper, right, and you're thinking about, you know, every small little hi-hat or every small little drum that you're thinking of, and when you're producing your own beats, sure, that's cool, it's great, right? But as much as I talk to people, image is everything too. If they can't relate to you, they're not gonna rock with you, right? And when you start to overly think of that result, it starts to rub off on people. They can see it within you that, okay, this is solely what this person wants. They just want to become big. They're not trusting the process. You know, they not the 76ers. They ain't trusting no process with Brian Colangelo. They're not them, right? So I'm telling you, sometimes you have to sit back and just be like, enjoy the moment, like I'm enjoying this nature right now, and be like, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm appreciate it. This morning I checked, I have 686 subscribers. Shout out to y'all, it's great, you know? And sometimes you have to sit back and just try to count your blessings and appreciate all that. You may be, let's say, a basketball player, and you may not have 5 stars, you may not have 4 stars, and you are chasing that 5-star rating, you're chasing that offer, you're chasing everything, but it's not coming to you, right? I don't like to be religious, or I don't like to, you know, spread religious beliefs in, but, you know, even in Christianity, right, when you speak of God, you know, there's Bible verses that talk about patience, and sometimes that is something that you have to look at. Even if you have another religion, look at verses that talk about patience, because one thing is, you can blow up. There's many ways you can blow up in, you know, content, or if you want to do basketball, or you could be the most outlandish person ever, right? You could go in and just act a complete fool. Take content creation. You could, if you were to start content creation and you wanted to just make videos and get as much subscribers, followers as possible, what's the first thing you could probably do? Make content where you clip farm, especially use girls in your videos to then use themselves to probably sexualize themselves to then get a male audience that then wants to tune into your content. Is that right? You get that right and you can get results, but let's be honest, is that maintainable? Is that something that you want to maintain? And even if you can maintain it, is that something that you want to have for the future? Is that what you want to be remembered as? And I think sometimes when we're impatient, we can even throw off the circumstances that we originally envisioned in our dream, where now we have to chase something because we put ourselves in a hole or a box to assimilate with others just so we could achieve that milestone. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a rapper and, you know, you're rapping and you don't want to talk about, you know, drugs and all these other things, right? You may not attract that mainstream audience. You may not. It just may be the nature of things, right? However, you can still build a nice cult-like following if you are relatable to your audience, or they can find something in you as a character that makes them want to be around you, or wants to make them want to go to your shows, makes them want to, you know, listen to your music. What is that that's going to draw to them? Or you could pop out and just rap like every other dude, sound the same, but what is your comment section going to be? Not saying you should necessarily care about it, but you more than likely will if they're saying, oh, this person's a such and such clone. This person, you know, isn't original. And they're saying these type of things. That's when you should go about your life and make sure that your impatience is not throwing off your dream, if you get what I'm saying. I'm speaking facts right now, Zach. I'm speaking off, this all off the dome too, all off the dome. But back to the basketball point, like I used to play basketball back in the day, right? And I was a very small kid, very short, small, whatever. And you know, the high school I went to had a bunch of hoopers. Like everyone was cold. Ain't that right, Zach? Everyone was cold, and I was so small, and I put in thousands of hours of basketball. Like I know I did. And basketball was a sport I loved, but I was so short and small. I was like 5'2". My freshman year, I was like 70-something pounds. I was very small, right? I eventually quit basketball and went to soccer, which although I like that sport, basketball was my true love, right? I quit, and by the time I hit my senior year, I hit like 5'10". I was already 5'10" at that point, and now I was so thrown off by my impatience that I thought that the circumstances of my dream was so far beyond me. All the other dudes who were cold went off to college. Some of the dudes went off to different academies or whatever, right? They left the team. That would have been my moment to go and be like, okay, it's time to try out. It's time to go hit the court again, right? If I would have kept at it that entire time, you know how cold I could have became? You know how much different my outcome could have become? Would it be 100% guaranteed? No. But my circumstance could have changed, and I could have potentially made that team, right? However, I let my impatience over time dictate whether or not I was even gonna go touch a basketball. And now y'all see on my channel, bro, when I be shooting that basketball, it be a little broke right now. Like my shot be broke. I'm not gonna act like it ain't. Everyone's seen it, Zach's seen it, you know what I'm saying? So don't let your impatience be what deters you in your goals. If you want to go to a certain school and you know that you're gonna have to make a certain SAT score, You're just gonna have to hit the books. If you want a certain job and you know you're gonna have to keep a certain GPA, you know you're gonna have to hit the books. And when you have those nights where things are getting hard and that feels so distant for you, just remember that everyone else who got to that point, well, I'm not gonna say everyone else because some people are Nepo babies. I'm not gonna act like it isn't. But a lot of those other people who got to that point were in your same circumstance, and some of them even had to work harder than you. So you're gonna have to sit back and be like, do I truly want this? And if you truly do want it, you're gonna have to stick to the process. You know, make sure that you appreciate everything. Make sure that you know you're grateful for the circumstance that you're in to even be impatient about your goal. Because some people don't even have the opportunity to even think about a dream right now. And they're thinking about whether or not they eat their next meal, or they're thinking about whether or not they can even get water tomorrow. There's so much going on in the world right now, which I'm not gonna 100% get into, but you know what I'm saying. There's so many things across the globe in different continents where people are struggling. Your impatience is a gift, and you have to think of it as something that you can manage. You know, it's just one of the setbacks that you have, but a blessing can be a curse, but you can also say a curse can be a blessing. So what I want y'all to do is, as I just hit my big age of 23, I hope y'all can relate to this. Use your impatience as fuel, and also know that your impatience is not something that has to be the killer of your dreams, and use it as a means of just chasing your goals. But sit back and realize the moment that you're in, you probably have already experienced a lot of growth. You posted your video, you hit the court today. You may have missed a bunch of shots. Your shot may be trash. You may be at 60 overall right now, but you can still become a 99. But don't let that road to 99 be the deterrent from you because you're impatient. So I rock with y'all. This is just a quick little video. I'll see y'all in the next one. We got some cinematic content coming. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.